It's time for a little comedy, a little content, and a lot of conversation. It's the Geno Jones Show, exclusively right here on YouTube. And now here's your host, Geno Jones.
Hello, welcome. Give yourself a hand. We made it to another weekend. Yes, you made it through another week. It is showtime. Time for the Geno Jones Show. I guess you figured it out. So you say, hey, oh yeah, that dude. That dude is me. I come to you live Monday through Friday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern, 5:30 p.m. Central, 3:30 p.m. out on the West Coast, 1:30 p.m. if you're vacationing, if you're chilling out on the beautiful island of Maui out there in Hawaii. Please subscribe to the channel. Please subscribe to the Geno Jones channel right here on YouTube. Please like and share, or share and like this and every episode, and tell everybody you know. Everybody. I mean everybody, or as Nelly would say, everybody. When I say everybody, I mean everybody. Doesn't matter if you know them or not. Doesn't matter if you like them, love them, can't stand them, hate them. Strangers, aliens, folks on the interstate, on the freeway, on the subway, on the train. Yes, in the supermarket, in the laundromat, in church. Tell the minister. Tell the minister. Praise the Lord and watch the Geno Jones Show. All right. It's Friday. You know, I'm always amped. I'm amped every show. Let's get right into it. Also, today, my guest host, returning guest host, or hostess, my guest host, Miss Dakota Rain. She's been on guest host. She guest hosted a couple times, did a fabulous job. All right, so today, actually, not today, this weekend, Valentine's weekend, back in 1985, Whitney Houston's debut album, titled Whitney Houston. The iconic, like the orange album cover with her picture, the young Whitney Houston, who was also a top model, believe it or not, at the time. It was actually released on Valentine's Day of 1985. Of course, you had Saving All My Love. I will never disrespect Whitney for trying to, in any kind of way, sing that song, Saving All My Love for You, and of course, You Give Good Love. So, thought that was interesting, wanted to acknowledge that. Now, since we're talking about today, happy birthday, February 11th. Shout out to all my Aquariuses celebrating a birthday today. Miss Brandy Norwood is 43. Kelly Rowland of Destiny's Child, she's doing her own thing now. Kelly Rowland is 41. So if Kelly Rowland is 41, that means that in September, on September 4th, Beyonce is going to be 41. They're like the same age. Wow. All right. D'Angelo, ladies, was he like your initial baby daddy? Because now, like Maxwell is y'all baby daddy, but back in the 90s, D'Angelo was y'all baby daddy, and actually, R&B singer Angie Stone from Columbia, South Carolina, right up the way. That's a real baby daddy. D'Angelo is 48, and R&B singer young brother new on the scene, relatively new, Khalid is 24. Shout out to my man D. Middleton. He was a guest, a black business owner here, entrepreneur, has a couple of venues. As a matter of fact, a venue called La Creme that I've made appearances at. He came on promoting all of his businesses. He is celebrating a birthday that's still celebrating. His birthday was actually Wednesday. He is still celebrating. Happy birthday. So all you all that know brother D. Derek Middleton, we call him D. Middleton. Show him some birthday love. He's legal. He's legal plus, so buy him a drink. I guess you can buy him 2 drinks since he's legal plus. Don't ask me what that number is. You can ask him. So he's like legal enough where y'all can buy him a drink or 2 drinks. Help him celebrate his birthday. And I got one special birthday I got to get into before I finish up this monologue here and bring on my guest host. Tomorrow, February 12th, my firstborn, my oldest daughter, I have 2. You hear me talk about Boogie and Allie. Allie's the baby girl. Her birthday, we talked about her a couple months ago. It's November 2nd, her birthday. Today, or tomorrow, February 12th, my firstborn, Lauren Hill Vaughn, because she's married now. She's all grown up, got a husband, but she is still daddy's firstborn baby. She will always be that. Boogie, Daddy loves you more than life itself. You have never, ever, 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 never, ever given me any trouble, not even 1 second of your life. You and your sister, you all have been, I really feel like I'm like cheating. I mean, how can you have 2 daughters and they both be the perfect daughters? And you've been a great role model for your baby sister. So you have been the perfect daughter and sister, and you know how much I love you. So have a great birthday. I love you more than life itself. And I'm gonna smile because I love you so much. I'm smiling because you all tease me like Damaris and Allie and Boogie said, Dad, you so sensitive. So I'm not gonna cry, but just thinking about it, those are tears of joy because I'm just so very proud of her. Like I always tell you, Boogie, your future is so bright. When I look at you, I gotta put on shades because the bright, like I said, your future is so bright. Looking at you, it's like staring into the sun. It will blind you because you got such a bright future. So I'm very proud of you. All right. So today also is a big day. I want to congratulate my man Snoop D-O-double-G, Calvin Brodus, AKA Snoop Dogg. So he just bought Death Row Records. Now back in the early 90s, Snoop Dogg was on that label, Death Row Records, and he released his album. He was initially on a soundtrack to a movie called Deep Cover. Lawrence Fishburne, he starred in that. He was like this undercover cop in the drug world, and he got so deep under, so it was Deep Cover, because he was so deep undercover. It was like, dude, are you undercover or are you a dealer? Are you the drug dealer or are you the narc? It's a good movie. So that was like Snoop Dogg's debut with Dr. Dre, and then of course, Death Row Records, Dr. Dre's Chronic album, and Snoop's album, and Tupac's album, all on Death Row Records. So now Snoop owns Death Row Records, so that means he owns his masters, he owns a lot. I don't know how many. Drake didn't get all of his masters when he left Death Row. So he's got like, let's see, Dr. Dre's masters. He's got a lot of Tupac's masters. I think the estate got some, but he's got those. Snoop, you're doing your thing, being a boss. So today, Snoop Dogg released a brand new single and an album, and they have the same title, BODR. That's an acronym, Back on Death Row. So those letters, each letter stands for a word, but all 4 of those letters make up one, well, B-O-R, that would be board, B-O-R-D, Back on Death Row Records, out today. And then, not even an hour ago, I see this news about Snoop Dogg. Snoop Dogg and his right-hand man, Bishop Don Magic Juan. I'll tell you a story about it, because this story is not funny. But I have, not personally, kind of, not directly, but indirectly, I have some history with Bishop Don Magic Juan. So Snoop Dogg and Bishop Don Magic Juan, you've seen him. He was in Friday After Next with Cat Williams' character, AKA Money Mike. You know, Bishop Don Magic Juan with the green Cadillac, you know, old school pimp, became a bishop. But like I said, it's not a funny story. Snoop Dogg and Bishop Don Magic Juan have been sued by a woman out in California for sexual assault and battery back in 2013. So according to this report, this woman, she was a dancer, and I think she initially hooked up with Bishop Don Magic Juan. This is actually, his real name is Donald. So she hooked up with Bishop Don Magic Juan. She went back to his house. She woke up, apparently there was a sexual assault, according to this woman, who's referred to in court as Jane Doe. And then he takes her over to Snoop's studio, and then somehow, allegedly, Snoop Dogg sexually assaults the same woman. So that's, listen, I just put it out there, but it's you can find it. It's not a hoax. She's officially, filed this, a lawsuit. I really, listen, I take that stuff very serious. So I take any type of violence against a woman very seriously. You all know I'm an advocate. to just any kind of domestic violence, sexual violence. I'm an advocate against it. It's happened. I witnessed domestic violence in my own family. I learned later in life about sexual violence in my own family with women in my family. And I will just transition and move on and get out of this story by saying this. Violence against women, it's not a woman's problem. Violence against women is a man's problem. And we as men, we have to not just stand up, we got to create a culture and a climate in the culture to where violence against any woman in any form is unacceptable. What we're not going to do as men in this culture is tolerate any type of violence against women. Period. Full stop. No explanation. I don't care what. No, I don't want to hear it. No, if you got anger management issues, we can get you some help. Find a therapist, someone you can talk to. Maybe you just need to go your separate ways. But we, especially as black men, because the most, and I've said it so many times, I'm going to say it again, the most unprotected, misunderstood, disregarded, disrespected, unheard person on the planet is a black woman. So if we as black men, if we can't stand up and protect black women, nobody will. A story earlier this week, you heard me talk about it. It was a white man who was a congressman out of Kentucky. He pointed his finger, pushed his finger, and there's a congresswoman, a black woman out of Ohio, poked her in the back and told her to kiss his ass because she just asked him to put on a mask as they were getting on there's a congressional subway, which I didn't know existed. So what made him think that he could just tell a black woman to kiss his ass and poke her in the back because she asked him to put on a mask? Really? What made you think that you could do that and it was okay? Now, I know he issued an apology, but damn the apology. Why were you so comfortable? Now, I know why. Your privilege and your power as a white man, because you've been doing what the hell you've been doing what the hell you wanted to do since you immigrated from wherever you came over in Europe and disrespect. And I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole about, what's happened to black people here for 402 years, even though we need to talk about what happened before like 1619. That's a different show. But the bottom line is, if we as black men, if we can't protect black women, then who are we? Really? Who are we as men, especially black men? Because the same colonizers have pitted black men against black women, and we bought into that same anti-blackness. Not all of us, not even most of us, but enough of us have bought into that same anti-blackness. Well, a black man ain't good enough for me, or a black woman ain't good enough for me. Black women too ghetto, black men too ghetto, they this and that. Stop it. If you're in a relationship and it turned out bad with a black woman or a black man, it happens. And guess what? In some cases, it may not have been them. It could be you. But don't think, one thing I would say this, and not from personal experience, but I have been around enough people to know. If you think that, now I'm speaking in generalities. Yes, most black women say, well, black women ain't gonna take no stuff. Well, you know why? Because black women have had to put up with more crap-ish than any other women, especially than white women. But one thing about a woman I've learned, and I've seen, that every woman has got like that threshold. Some you can push a little, some triggers is shorter than others. But any woman, irregardless of whatever her ethnic background is or what she looks like, any woman has a breaking point. And if you push it far enough, you'll get to see that other side. I promise you. I've seen it with people that I know. It's like, it's like, oh, whoa, wait a minute. I didn't know that you push somebody far enough. That's anybody, any human. If you push them far enough, eventually they'll push you back. They'll snap back. All right, listen, it is time for me to bring on my guest, and I want to get her feedback. I'm sure because she's a black woman. My guest host, media personality. She's down in the ATL right now. She did a great job guest hosting for my girl, Miss Keela Carson, who's doing her thing because she's a professor. So you get to see Keela, hopefully sometime around March, because man, she is busy educating these great minds of these college students. But Dakota has come on. She is killing the game as a guest co-host. She is a regular contributor now, part of the Geno Jones family. Y'all see her, look at her. Look at you, girl. You got your little, what you got going? You got that little, what's that little halo glow behind you? You know, got that black woman magic, Dakota Rain. What's happening? How you doing?
Hi, how are you? I'm fine. How are you today?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. As my grandfather said, any day above ground is a good day.
So, yes. You know, we got a lot in common.
We do. Well, lean to the camera because we want.
Okay.
There you go.
So,
you had all that headroom. We want to go ahead now. You got your hair and makeup looking good there. Come on now.
My oldest daughter, she turns. Her birthday is tomorrow.
Really? Wow.
Yeah. So
what's her name?
Actually Jamaica.
Happy birthday, Jamaica. You and I call her Boogie. That's just she a grown woman now, 30s. She's still Boogie. But Lauren, my oldest daughter, her name is Lauren.
My daughter's nickname is Pooh, but Pooh. I'm a full name kind of mom, you know.
Happy birthday, Pooh. You got to meet Boogie, Pooh and Boogie. When y'all get together, I'll pay for it. You all go out, have dinner, and talk about, you know, your dad and your mom. So that's, man, the greatest. Wow, it's the greatest gift I can think of that I've been given is the gift of being a parent. It is.
Yeah.
It has changed my life. They make me a better person. So happy birthday to Jamaica. Happy birthday, Pooh. All right, let's jump into this. All right, so you heard the monologue, Miss Dakota Rain. So I don't know where you want to. Oh, let me just say this. Hey, we got a special feature, a new feature that I'm kicking off today. We'll call it the Banned Book of the Week. Since a lot of y'all banning books, you're afraid for your children. You're afraid for the white children, your white children. You say, we don't want white kids to feel uncomfortable. Well, feeling uncomfortable is a good sign. If they're feeling uncomfortable about hate and racism and murder and rape and genocide, that's a good thing. Any of us, any human should feel bad if they see any group of people being treated horribly and enslaved and murdered. And yes, that shows that you have a sense of humanity, that you are human and you have compassion and empathy, and you feel bad that something like that would happen to anybody. And hopefully, if you feel bad enough, then you'll make sure you and people that you know don't go and make the same mistake. Go ahead, Dakota. What do you want to add to that?
I grew up in the South, so I will add this, that most of those past generations that are participating in this and they were raised up in this, there's no humanity in that. There's no humanity in them. A person that now they're banning the books, but before they were banning, they didn't want you to read. You know,
that part.
So
it
was
illegal. Right there.
You could die, literally be killed because you were trying to read a book because you knew how to read.
That's true. Well, you dropping the knowledge on them. Tell the truth, shame the devil, and you telling the truth. Good. All right. So what do you want? Where do you want to start at? You got like DJ Cassidy passing you the microphone. Where do you want to start at?
First, I'll give my opinion on the domestic violence thing. I feel like that's one of my pet peeves because I've lost a couple of friends.
Oh no.
To domestic violence, and these were like long-term childhood friends. One of them, Star, she was killed by her husband in broad daylight, and she was a teacher. So he rolled up to the school because you know how teachers do bus duty. Yeah. And they're out there making sure that, they're the guardians of the bus area, making sure everybody gets on the bus safely. There's no hoopla, whatever.
Right.
He shoots her in broad daylight in front of the kids.
Oh my God. Well, hopefully he's still in jail.
Yeah, I haven't heard anything else about it, but it's crazy. He was a minister on top of that. And then I lost another friend. She was going back and forth with this guy. Basically, you're kind of on your own around here in most areas. Is I guess is a white man's state. I mean, we're Republican down here in the South, in Alabama, Georgia, Mississippi, and stuff. So you can, even with white women, the police aren't as involved as they should be. Versus if I was to do something to a man, it would be handled. It wouldn't be 3, 4, 5 times until I end up dead. Because most of the time that's the situation. They're calling the police. They're running, they're hiding, but it's just not emphasized. So on that domestic violence tip, we're still so oppressed. But you shouldn't have that attitude towards women. We're the givers of life. We're literally a portal of life. And I'm not saying somebody should just bow down and worship a woman, but you should have just a lot more, just not a little more, a lot more respect for our species.
Well, you know what, and Dakota, it's not even about bowing down. If you're in a situation, if you're in a relationship and things are not working out, leave. Just go. Just go.
Well, a lot of times they do leave.
Yeah. Well, I'm just saying for the man, not the woman, because it's hard. Listen, and I've told this story before. As a matter of fact, my mother's watching now.
Mm-hmm.
My baby sister's 5 years younger than me. My mother was pregnant with my baby sister, so I was four and a half. And the man she was married to at the time, the father of my 2 younger sisters, was beating her on a back porch. We called it a back porch. We lived in a 2-flat apartment building in Chicago, and it had an enclosed back porch. And he was on the back porch, and he jumped on her. He was beating her. I'm 4 years old. It's like I'm looking in that camera. I can see it right now. And I attacked him. I tried to knock him down. Like a football player, I tried to tackle him and knock him down. I was trying to fight him at 4 years old. So I've been impacted. This has impacted me all of my life. I'm talking about something that happened over 5 decades ago. I can still see it like I'm looking at you. So that's why it is personal for me. And I've heard men say, well, man, you don't get in nobody, don't get in my business. Look, if you put your hands on a woman in front of me, you have made it my business. And collectively, we as a culture of men of all races, regardless of your ethnicity or race or background, but especially as black men, considering all the abuse that black women have had to deal with, the racism and then the misogyny and the sexism, and then unfortunately, black women have had and still have to deal with sexism and misogyny from men that look like them.
But it's got to stop. It comes from we don't know who we are. And if we don't get the message out and more people don't start reading these books that they're trying to ban, I mean, I'm not even focused on the white children in school that are supposed to be feeling so bad about it. Our children need to read these books as well. Our children need to know these stories. And unfortunately, if you didn't come from certain places or you're under a certain age, you don't have it in you. I see it every day, especially when I was just like on the job working around a lot of people. It's just the way people act and carry themselves. They could just be a couple of years younger, but they didn't get that in school. Or maybe they came from certain backgrounds where that wasn't discussed, that wasn't a priority, and it wasn't important in your household. But the bottom line is you're not putting fear in anybody. You're not talking about old-fashioned stuff that doesn't exist anymore. We have to know that we come from a place of trauma. We come from a place of oppression and devastation. And then when I look back, just since I've been soul searching these past few years, learning myself and who I am, when I look back just through the generations of my family, because you got to face stuff like that. You can't just always put Big Mama and Papa, whoever you want to call them, up on a pedestal. You know what I'm saying? Or their mom or their dad. You got to tell it like it is.
Yeah.
You know, if you come from something in your family, especially if your family was living back in those days of Jim Crow or beyond, and they were here in America, that stuff has been inbred in us. The man is hated so hard, especially back then in Jim Crow days. He comes home, you know, already feeling angry and hurt and depressed. And then the way they were teaching our men, you don't cry, you don't talk about it. That stuff has to come out.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't come out in a positive way, it's going to come out in a negative way.
Yes. And
you know,
yeah, you're right. And violence, I didn't mean to jump in, but violence is one of those forms. Domestic violence, suicide, self-medicating with drugs, alcohol, gambling.
Yes. And I'm not trying to justify the Black man, but we have to start somewhere. We have been cheated out of our families. We're just getting to the point where as a race, as a whole, as a people, we're getting married. Because once upon a time, we weren't allowed to get married.
Yes.
And then we went from not being allowed to get married to basically being discouraged from getting married, like systemically discouraged. Like this movie came to mind when you were talking about what you were talking about, when you were doing a monologue. I can't think of the name of it, but it's Diane Carroll.
Claudine.
And James,
Claudine.
Yeah, Claudine. Yes. And when she was having to make her old son leave the house and hide everything that she had, and she couldn't have a boyfriend. It wasn't even her husband. And that I remember hearing about how the welfare person came to your house and brought your benefits to your house.
Yeah.
And if you know they didn't like something that was going on, you wouldn't get your benefits. And that was another form of oppression. The Black man has never been allowed to be in the home.
Right. No, listen, y'all had to ban all the books from the schools you want to, because Dakota's educating you. She's giving you the education for free right here on the show. And that is so very true. And that was real. That, you know, you see the little white woman come to the house, had her little glasses on, looking like a librarian.
It was real life. That's not a movie.
Right. How did you get that TV? And Claudine, the movie Claudine depicted it with Diane Carroll and James Earl Jones. That was real. That was real.
And after that, it changed from the little white lady to the older Black lady or the older Black man, because I lived in public housing when I was younger, and they do what they call inspections. And nobody knew this. Some people knew it was illegal. Some people didn't know it was illegal. But when they came to your house, they're looking all in your closet, all, you know, opening your dressers and stuff. Now that they have to have somebody there with them, like another worker, to make sure they're not doing it. And you have to be present. They give you the option. But at one point, they were doing it in your face. Oh, what are you doing with these kind of clothes? Yeah. What are your children doing with this? That's not your business. What are you in my closet for? Yeah. I can go in your closet. You know, and that person would treat you differently. You know, if they were jealous, because we all know a lot of public workers, they're 1 foot away from the welfare line themselves.
Yeah. Listen, the majority of Americans are 2 paychecks away from being homeless. I mean, it's something really, if the ish really hit the fan, the majority of Americans are 2 paychecks away from being homeless. So that's something real. And one thing, because you talked about how it's so important that we do know our history, so we won't repeat it, but we also need to learn, and I talked about it earlier, that our history started way before 1619. And the enslavement of African people here, not just in America, but all the Americas, in the Caribbean, all the Caribbean islands, in Brazil, the majority of enslaved people didn't come to America. They didn't even come to America and the Caribbean. They went to Brazil. 5 million Africans, part of the
the Native Americans.
Yeah, exactly. Right. But just in terms of just we people of African descent here, like I said, not just, and we got to kind of connect that. You hear people talk about the African diaspora, you know, but the whole colonization has taught us this anti-blackness that a significant number of Black people have, the basically looking at other Black people through the prism of white nationalism and hate, anti-blackness, that has been ingrained. Let's be honest about it. How did we wind up being enslaved and sent from West Africa? It was other Africans that sold black people into slavery. So it's Friday. You know, we always have fun and make it funny on Friday. So we ain't gonna bum you out. But the point I was trying to close on, and then you pick up on whatever else you want to talk about. We got to teach about the history before 1619. On the continent of Africa, we are descendants of people that invented math, built the pyramids. Folks still ain't figured out how the hell did they build the pyramids? They didn't have big construction companies and all this equipment. How did they build the pyramids? And no one has been able to duplicate what they did in terms of building the pyramids with all this equipment. Mathematics, vaccines. Did you know that vaccines, the original concept of vaccines, came from the continent of Africa? Google that, do your homework. So what we need to make sure that we teach our children is that we come from greatness. So this whole thing about, you know, when kids do well in school, oh, you're acting white. No, you got it twisted. White people don't have a patent on intelligence. If you knew your history, a lot of the stuff that Europe learned, they learned from Africans on the continent. Like I said, math, science, vaccines. I could go on and on and on. So I digress. So much for that. Dakota, I'm passing the mic back to you. What else did you want to talk about today?
Let's talk about this Whitney album. That was my girl. I
remember that?
When I was little with my Barbie doll in front of Herpes Come On. I think his name was Donnie Simpson.
Yeah.
And
Video Soul. Yep.
Yeah, and watch her. And I had my Barbie doll dressed up and be pretending like I was shooting a video and stuff. That was my
Yeah. Rest in peace, power and paradise to Whitney Houston. Tragic life. The greatest singing voice I ever heard. That's just not right. You can at me, whatever. For me, the greatest singing voice I ever heard, period, full stop. Whitney was just incredible. So
just a beautiful model too.
And she was, because that's what she was doing. She was like 19, I think. And I remember when they brought her to Chicago and the whole debut album, they had like a promotional tour. So yeah, just rest in peace, power and paradise. We know Whitney's story. It ended tragically, but man, what she accomplished, you can't take that away from her. Just press play. You know that. As a matter of fact, I'd never heard a greater version. Now Marvin Gaye killed the national anthem at the NBA All-Star game in 1985, but man, back in was it 93, when Whitney sang her rendition of the national anthem at the Super Bowl.
Yeah, she killed that.
Which we won't talk about. We'll kind of talk about that in a minute, because she really kind of got sidetracked. I was going to add that in the monologue. So I tell you what, let me just go there, and so I can kind of segue and lead you into that whole conversation. All right. So Super Bowl is Sunday. I'm not watching. I can't do this. I can't continue to support an industry that constantly gives me their ass to kiss. Gives us as black people collectively. I mean, they whiteballed Colin Kaepernick because he took a knee to protest police brutality and racism and the oppression of black people and people of color. So the owners, you got 32 teams, 31 teams owned by white men. I think one of the teams is a white man, and his wife, I think, is running the team. She's Asian American. But so you got all these white owners, and it's a private club, and they can let in who they want to let in or not let in. There's a lot of talk about Byron Allen. They want him to buy a team. The Denver Broncos is up for sale. So now they found him. There's a brother named Robert Smith, a billionaire. He's like a Wall Street venture capitalist guy. He is the brother who paid the outstanding tuition debt of the graduating class. He was the commencement speaker at Morehouse's graduation, I think in 2019. And at the end, he announced that any graduates that had any outstanding debt, he was going to pay it off. So they want him. So either Byron Allen or Robert Smith now all of a sudden, we want y'all to buy the Denver Broncos. I can't do this with the NFL. And my question is, why do we still watch? Now, I love the game. I had a chance to play pro football. I love the game. And I said it before, even before the story came out about Brian Flores, who was former head coach down in Miami with the Dolphins. And he filed a racial discrimination suit. He had an interview on a Thursday. On a Monday, his former boss, Bill Belichick, I call him Bill Belichick, the head coach of the Patriots, texted him because Brian Flores used to be a coach under Bill Belichick. And Bill Belichick texted him and said, hey, congratulations. I hear Buffalo and New York, you're going to be the head coach of the New York Giants. So there's another guy, a white dude named Brian Daboll, who also worked under Bill Belichick the same time the black Brian did. And so Brian Flores, the black guy, said, well, coach, my interview is not till Thursday. And you heard I got hired? Are you sure? Are you talking about me or the white Brian? And then Bill Belichick is like, texted, oh, I effed up. I'm sorry. I meant the other Brian. So he filed this racial discrimination lawsuit. So for me, that was just, and this just happened 2 weeks ago. So I'm like, I can't, why am I going to continue to support the NFL? Now, I know it's just me, one person, but I wish that like we really have like a real blackout with the Super Bowl. Black folks and anti-racist people of all colors just say, man, why are we doing this? Why are we going to support this? And so the funny part is, so this year, now all of a sudden, this is the blackest Super Bowl halftime show ever. I mean, you had Michael Jackson, you had Prince, you had Whitney, you had Beyonce, you had Bruno Mars, but this is the blackest they never had like a hip hop halftime show. Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg, Kendrick Lamar, Mary J. Blige, and Eminem. So
Kendrick Lamar is a repeat, and I saw that. I was like, no, you couldn't. I'm not hating on him, but you couldn't find anybody else. It's like when they pick from a very small basket.
Yeah, but Kendrick, for me, Kendrick is iconic. This kid.
Yeah, he is. But I'm just saying, like, is people that I get what they're trying to do. They're trying to have more of an image of color.
Yeah, but also, let me just say
Mm-hmm.
this, Dakota. Now, it's a theme. Now the Super Bowl is in LA. It's a West Coast theme. Dre, Snoop, Kendrick are from LA. Dre and Kendrick from Compton. Snoop is from Long Beach. So, and then Eminem, the connection, Dr. Dre put Eminem on like he did Snoop. And Mary is just Mary J. Blige. So it had this West Coast theme. That's why they got like the biggest names in pop culture musically on the West Coast. All are iconic. Dr. Dre, iconic. NWA, Snoop Dogg, Kendrick Lamar, like the next generation hip hop icon. But my point is, so we can entertain you, but we don't want you in leadership positions. We don't want you coaching our team or being general managers or presidents, and we damn sure don't want y'all to be owners. We don't want to let you in the club. So if you don't want me, then why am I begging for you to love me? No, I'm not going to do that. And I'm not going to.
I don't even think it's about begging. I mean,
no, it's not. But the point,
I'm not. I'm saying, I know what you're saying. I'm not saying like that. But what it is we're in this monkey do, monkey see type of society right now. Like, yeah, I know I should be doing a blackout. We talked about this on Twitter years ago, but my friends are having Super Bowl parties and they're going to post this, and my neighbors are going to post this. What am I going to post? It's about keeping up with the Joneses.
Yeah, that's part of it.
Yeah.
And I get it. Football is, first of all, you got a league that's 70% black. All right.
Mm-hmm.
So, and it is part of the culture. There've been a significant number of black men who themselves and their family, their lives were forever changed. They were taken out of poverty. They were able to generate like generational wealth. I mean, wealth for like their grandkids. But people talk about, well, because some people had compared like pro athletes, especially pro football players, to like modern day slaves. And a lot of people got offended. How could you say and compare them to slaves? They're millionaires. Okay.
It's slaves that had got holidays and weekends off.
Wait,
slaves had got paid back in the day,
I agree.
but they still didn't have a voice.
Wait, I got one for them though, Dakota. Okay, they're millionaires, but the owners are billionaires.
Trillionaires.
Right. And how many?
And they're not becoming disabled or worse in their old age because of the job they've been doing.
Right.
They're not getting the brain damage. They're not getting the knee problems and the back problems and aching and stuff while everybody's outside in the yard playing with the kids and the grandkids and stuff at retirement. They're somewhere hopped up on pain pills because they can't. They're hurting.
Right.
Their body is shot out.
Right.
From that.
And at the same time, like I said, well, you can entertain us. You can be entertaining on the field, but we don't want you in any kind of position of leadership because you're not intelligent enough. For years, you didn't have a black quarterback because, black men didn't have the same level of intelligence, which was bullshit. So it's just so many brothers were so good. They were just forced. Like, man, look, we got to give in. We trying to get these Super Bowl. I remember when Doug Williams back in the late 80s, man, hurt his knee, came back in the second quarter, threw 4 touchdowns in one quarter, and the rest was history. And it was like, well, okay, I guess we're going to have to let them Negroes, let them play quarterback. But still, you got one, before 2 weeks ago, you had one black head coach. Now you got 2, but you got one who don't even want to claim his blackness. That's a whole different conversation. But no black owners, only a handful of black general managers. So like it's one thing you can entertain us, but we don't want you to make money and we don't want you to be in a position where you can become a billionaire. So for me, and like you said, I know folks are having Super Bowl parties and people are emotionally invested in these teams. These Cowboy fans are delusional. The Steeler fans, I worked in Pittsburgh, so I'm and then they got a black head coach. So I'm partial. I'm biased with the Steelers. I got love for the Steelers. Raider fans, Packer fans, all these fans. I get it. They are emotionally invested. But my thing is, look, I love the Lakers a lot, but my love has limits. Mary J. Blige had a song, Love No Limit. Well, my love knows some limits, and I ain't getting a check. Jeannie Buss and the Buss family that own the Lakers, they ain't cutting me a check. So I'm only so emotionally, I hate that the Lakers ain't winning, but LeBron getting a check every game. LeBron good.
But it comes from the inside, and it starts one person at a time. And you have to love yourself enough. We don't need the NFL. If you were to go to the doctor today and he told you, hey, you got to stop eating fast food or I'm going to take your legs. So he's been to you. Okay, then. So this is not emotionally good for us or our children. You know what I'm saying? Their children, they see this stuff. They have phones. They're watching their feed and this stuff pops up. You can't help but to see the news. I don't care what social media you're on. The news is on there. So, but then they come home on the weekend and mom and dad or whoever, they're spending all this money, $1,000 on alcohol and barbecue and stuff for a Super Bowl party. What are we really saying?
I'm with you. I'm with you.
That's not good for your emotional health. It's not good for your self-image. You know what I'm saying? You're basically saying that it's okay. And I'm sorry, all these people are working and they're on that job, but it is what it is. That is their job, but I don't have to put up with it. I don't have to buy products from a company that doesn't treat me right. I don't have to invest in my household. It's not necessary for my survival. So why can't
Drop the mic, Dakota Rain, ladies and gentlemen. See, y'all thought it was just me, Dakota Rain, and we didn't even discuss this before the show in our pre-show meeting. Look, and I get it. I'm not mad at anybody. Ideally, what I would hope and pray that Snoop and Dre and Mary and Kendrick and M would do. I hope that they would make really huge. I wish that they would get ready to perform and then drop the mic and said, until you all have black ownership, black owners in the NFL, and until you let Colin Kaepernick back in the NFL, and until you have more black head coaches, we dropping the mic right here and walk off the stage. Now, I know that's not going to happen.
But he's probably going to do something, because remember the last time he had the chains and all that, the prison theme going when he was performing, and that's when Beyonce, she was doing the black marching band thing and all the black.
Yes, right. The HBCU whole theme and vibe. Yeah, you know who I can see saying something? I can definitely see Snoop. Not so much. And Dre, and Dre's a bit. Here's the thing. First of all, Dre didn't need the Super Bowl halftime show. Snoop didn't need it. Mary don't need it. Kendrick don't need it. M don't need it. The NFL needed them. Listen, this Super Bowl halftime show is not going to make Dr. Dre any bigger. Listen, Dr. Dre and NWA already in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Who doesn't know who Dr.
They know people are going to watch Dr. Dre. When was the last time
Snoop?
He performed? Like a million years ago. Dr. Dre, he's been in the background.
Thank you.
And plus he just got over this issue, and he was unconscious or whatever in a coma in the hospital.
Yeah, I think he had a stroke or something. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And so everybody's going to want to see him.
And
they
Snoop,
know what they're doing. Yeah.
Him and that
that goes without saying, but Dr. Dre especially, everybody's like, yay, we've been rooting for him for the longest.
Yeah. Right.
So they know that, like you said, they needed that. They needed all of them, but they know what they're doing.
Because they listen, all of them are pop icons. From Dre, Snoop, Kendrick, Mary, and Eminem. They are pop icons. None of them needed the NFL. The NFL, they're already global pop icons, not just here in America, globally. So the NFL is not going to make them any bigger. Yeah, now 100 million people will get a chance to see them on stage. But listen, they may get some newer fans, but like I said, they are already global pop icons. So the NFL is not doing them any favor, and they're not getting paid for it. So they're doing the NFL a favor. So in a dream world, I wish they would have been like, y'all treating black head coaches like this, the scam interview, you tell the dude his interview is on a Thursday, but then a coach accidentally calls him and tell him he got the job on a Monday, and he hadn't even been interviewed. His interview is 4 days away. Y'all do this what we doing? So we're not gonna support that. But I'm not mad at. I know that's Jay-Z's fingerprints are all on that, because Jay-Z is working with the NFL, and they pulled him in trying to kind of calm down the whole Colin Kaepernick. Well, we got Jay-Z now. He works with the NFL and he's helping them with entertainment. Jay's a billionaire. It's like, and I said this, Jay, they really want to do you a favor, that you get a franchise. You got enough, he knows enough people, he could put together an ownership group and they could buy a franchise tonight. So we got to talk about ownership. Damn entertaining. We done singing and dancing for y'all. All right. We want in on the action. We want to get a piece of the money. We want some of the juice. And if 70% of the league, without black players in the NFL, what you got? Nothing. You got some great white players, but if you took all the great black players out of the NFL, you have the USFL, a step a little higher than like semi-pro football. I mean, you still got some great white players, but the league, 70% black. I don't even need to have to go down the list of all the great players in the NFL that are black. So I digress. I said my piece. I'm not watching the Super Bowl. I wish you all wouldn't watch it. Because you get to see the halftime show anyway. It's going to be all over YouTube and everywhere. So you can see it. But in real time, I don't want to contribute to the rating success of the NFL, which is going to translate into money. A 30-second commercial this year, Dakota, is like $7 million.
I haven't watched it in so long. I think last year I saw a couple of the commercials, like people posted them, and they're nowhere. I mean, they aren't that good anymore like they used to be. A lot of women that weren't into football, and a lot of guys too, watched it for the commercials.
Yes,
and
that's true. And the halftime show, right? You're right.
Yeah, but it's not that good anymore to me.
So
and
go finish your thought.
I was going to say, I'm not a pro football person. I'm more of a basketball and other type sports. But if I watch football, to me, college football is more exciting. It's more raw. It's more real.
Yeah, but they got big problems. Now you talking about, you think the NFL is bad when it comes to racism?
Oh, I know.
That's a whole different
You forgot where I'm from.
I know where you like you said, you down in the South. So I know, man. Don't get me started. So look, black folks, we don't need the Super Bowl. I know you guys. Listen, still have your party. Have your party. Go ahead, get your smartphone. You got your playlist. Plug it into your speakers. Have a party. Party. Y'all can drink, get high, eat.
Have a Black History party.
Right. Have your party, but just say we ain't watching this. We're not gonna give these NFL owners the ratings that they want so they can make even more money. We're gonna keep the party going. And then you can go to YouTube and watch Dre and all them. Because what I would love here's another power move, Dakota. Let me know what you think about this. All Dre, Snoop, Kendrick, Mary, and Eminem. How about a world tour? All of them. They got the money. They could be their own promoter. They could go around, they could rent out the venue and do all the marketing. They wouldn't need a promoter. They don't need Live Nation or nobody. You got 1 billionaire for sure plus with Dre. Snoop just bought Death Row Records. So Snoop apparently had more money than y'all realize. Kendrick, he may not be a billionaire, but he ain't hurting. Y'all, Jay-Z's pulled y'all in. He a billionaire. Mary got some loot, and Eminem got some loot.
Don't forget about Jay-Z's wife. She invests in him. Both couples invest together.
But, the NFL pulled Jay-Z in. So he's got that relationship officially. They held a news conference, say, Jay-Z is working with the NFL. We've hired him.
Yeah.
Right. Don't hire him.
Bringing money to the table in the group, whatever's lacking, she's got it.
Right. So it's plenty, just them. Jay's household, J&B, two billionaires right there. Dre, 3 billionaires. Snoop got loot, just bought Death Row Records. Kendrick got loot. Mary and Eminem. Have your own tour. Be your own concert promoters and go around the country. It would sell out. People would buy the tickets. Yeah, I know they may be about $400-500. Maybe the cheap seats would be $300. But so look, you know what the average ticket price is for the Super Bowl this year? Almost $9,000. The highest ticket prices are going for $50,000 a seat for one game. I think the cheapest they say you could find like on these different ticket outlets is like $4,000, $5,000. So I'm saying, all right, listen, before we get out of here, a new feature on the Geno Jones Show. Real quick, let me shout out. My mom is always watching. Shout out to my mother. Tell him, son. And my mom, she likes you, Dakota. She thinks you're doing a great job. And shout out to the Big Picture Podcast. That's my man right there. Shout out to the Big Picture Podcast and Brother Ben doing your thing. Ben Johnson, what's happening there? Shout out to Soulful Connection. KD and Money C, we see you there. KD lifting you and your family up in prayer. So we got a new feature on our way out the door. Since you have all these states that are banning books in school libraries because we don't want these white kids We don't want them to feel uncomfortable. And if you teach them about slavery, what are y'all gonna get rid of Black History Month? It's February. Since you don't want folks to feel, you don't want your kids to feel uncomfortable, now you're gonna try to ban Black History Month? So we got a solution. I came up with, I think, a solution. It's gonna be called the Banned Book of the Week. Every week, we're gonna talk about a banned book. So all them white kids out there, listen, if y'all parents is tripping, they don't want you to know about slavery because they don't want you to feel uncomfortable or feel guilty. Feeling uncomfortable or guilty about seeing any group of people being oppressed and murdered and mistreated and lynched and raped, you feeling uncomfortable about that is a good thing. And it gives me hope because it shows that you have the compassion and empathy and humanity some of y'all mama and daddies and grandparents didn't have. And that you all want to end this foolishness, this con game of racism, because this whole thing called race, it was made up. They call it a construct. It's a social structure that was invented, created in the 1680s, really in Europe, and imported to America. Some say it was created here, but this was a European thing to basically pit one group of people against the other. So a small handful of people could maintain all the political, social, and economic power. If we could make these poor white people think that the reason that they can't live in these big mansions and have political power, if we could just, we got to con them and we got to get them, distract them. We can't let them know that the reason that they are living in poverty and they can't have broadband, or their kids are going to inferior schools and they can barely make enough money to pay their bills. We can't let them know it's us powerful white men. Remember, when the Constitution was first written, the only people that could vote, and the language said, wealthy white male landowners, rich white Christian men were the only people that could even vote in this country. And why do you think all these voter suppression laws are happening, not just in the South, but all over it? Because they want to take this country back to where only wealthy white men can vote and make decisions on the future of everybody, including poor and working class white people. So this racism is a con on you all. And if you ever wake up and realize that you got more in common with poor and working class Black people and brown people and our Asian brothers and sisters and Native American brothers and sisters, that collectively together, all of us could change this whole political and social structure. And they are scared shitless. And I said it and I meant it, because it would shift this whole balance of power with everybody. Then the American dream would be real for everybody. So I didn't mean to go down that hole. So this week, our first banned book of the week, Miss Dakota Rain. I hand it off to you.
I just want to say one thing before I name this book, because I want to appeal to this Christianity. And I'm not knocking anybody's religion. But first of all, it says God is love. And then is somewhere else in the Bible that says that if you don't have love in you, then you don't know God. So for those laws or whatever, they can put it on Christian this and that all they want to. That's not Christian. That's not. And that's what their book says. So now let me go into this book. So the book of the week, the banned book of the week is the class.
Before you do that, because this is going to tie into your book, because I know what the book you're going to do. Oh, just for the record, for all the Christians out there, this Christianity that they practice in America, the same Christianity that they use to justify enslaving Black people and the genocide of Native American people and the mistreatment of Chinese Americans and Irish immigrants and Italian immigrants and Jewish immigrants and German immigrants. That Christianity, this remix version of Christianity, Google this. Christianity in its original form, guess where it was practiced? Africa, the continent of Africa. Now I know I'm starting some ish right there. So this version of Christianity that you see practiced, it's not even the original form of Christianity, because Christianity didn't start in America. started in Africa. I'm sorry. I just wanted to throw that little nugget in there because I know you're gonna recommend a book that will connect to that whole history. So go ahead. I apologize. I just had to throw that in there because I knew it would all be tied in together, Dakota.
Okay, so this book is called The Classic Slave Narratives. I don't know how I found it. I know I buy books on sale, and it was marked down really cheap. And I think it was during Black History Month in the Black History section that where I'm from, nobody was paying attention to it. So I grabbed it because it was only a couple of dollars. So it's basically a collection of journals that they found, and there's 4 of them in this book. There are more volumes that other people have written, and I think the author, Henry Louis Gates, he's written more. But this one particularly is about the life of Olaudah Equiano, the history of Mary Prince, and Frederick Douglass, and this other unnamed slave that just found her stuff. Is called Life of a Slave Girl. That was my favorite one, The Life of a Slave Girl. And basically she was living with this captain. I think that's what he was, a boat captain or something like that. But she was a sex slave. Basically, wow. Yes. So he purchased her at a very young age. She's had children with this man. He basically just had his way with her, and she would be writing in a book on how she just wanted to get away, how it was causing her to hate herself. I mean, we've had suicidal thoughts and tendencies for a long time. It just didn't start, and she wanted to do all these things. I can't remember exactly how she escaped because it's been a while since I read the book. I loaned it to somebody, which I do a lot, and I never got it back. It was a young lady who was troubled and stuff, and I kind of wanted her to read something where she could find her identity. And she was a reader because she was into Zane. So she read those, and I said, hey, I want you to read something that's going to feed you. Because she was in an abusive relationship and she kept going back. But she was the one that had all the money, all the skills, and she thought she needed this person. I said, you need to read this because right now you're in slavery. So,
what's the name of the book again?
It's The Classic Slave Narratives, and these are their words. These are the actual journals that these people, these oppressed, abused people kept every day, probably to keep from losing their mind and tell somebody, to get it out of them. But these are actually their words that they wrote. Like in the life of the slave girl, she had to sneak and write stuff because you couldn't let anybody know that you knew how to read. Frederick Douglass's part is more about, the things that he saw that people, were coming to him as he was helping people, what they were discussing, how they were fighting, planning and stuff like that. But it's something that I think everyone should read.
So go to your Black bookstore or find one. Google a Black bookstore near you in whatever city you are. Support a Black business. Some of y'all gonna deal with Amazon, but Jeff Bezos, he's a billionaire 100 times over, 200 times over. So he got enough of y'all money, our money. So support a Black business, find a Black bookstore, go in and let them order it for you. Give us the title of that book one more time. Henry Louis Gates is a legendary educator. He does documentaries. He teaches at Harvard. And he helps people trace their ancestry. Brilliant brother. What's the name of the book one more time, Dakota?
It's called The Classic Slave Narratives.
The Classic Slave Narratives. Beautiful. Mm-hmm. Dakota Rain, great job as always. Thank you. Well, at least I know I won't be the only one not watching the Super Bowl Sunday, so at least, so hopefully we can start a movement here. So we'll be talking to you soon. Have a great weekend. Thanks again.
All right. Thank you. You do the same.
All right. Dakota Rain, always great job as a guest co-hosted. I love that. I got to go out and get that book. Thank you for letting me be a part of your life. As always, God bless each and every one of you. God, most of all, thank you for letting me do the Geno Jones Show. I come to you live Monday through Friday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern, 5:30 p.m. Central, 3:30 p.m. on the West Coast. Please subscribe to the Geno Jones channel here on YouTube. Please like and share this and every episode. I love each and every one of you. I really do, even the folks who don't love me. Mother, I love you more than life itself. Shout out to my man, the Big Picture Podcast. Happy birthday, Boogie. Happy birthday, Lauren Hill Vaughn, my firstborn, my oldest daughter. Have a happy birthday. Daddy loves you more than life itself. All the Aquariuses, happy birthday. Shout out to Mr. Markel Bailey, the official barber and hairstylist for the Geno Jones Show. He is on Instagram. Kel be cutting up. Kel, KELBECUTTINUP. Allie Jones and Bruce Gage, the official wardrobe consultants and stylists for the Geno Jones Show. Allie Jones on Instagram, _ line below. Lexi with 2 X's. Lexi space Nicole Designs. Bruce Gage. Just do a search on Google, Siri, Alexa, Bing, whatever. Search Bruce Gage on Instagram. You'll get to see all of his fashions for fall, winter 21-22 and spring 22. Bruce Gage, it's Miglio di Mario Uomo, but just search Bruce Gage on Instagram. It'll take you to his Instagram page. Have a great weekend, a great weekend. The next live edition of the Geno Jones Show, Monday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern. Until then, I just got one more thing to say, or two. Thank you for watching again, and as always, be blessed. See you Monday live, 6:30 p.m. right here.
Subscribe and tune in to the next episode of the Geno Jones Show, exclusively right here on YouTube.